Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition.
And this is episode 144. Today, Fred, we are focusing on what really amounts to a foundational shift in artificial intelligence.
It's a shift so large it's being valued like a national power grid. I'm Fred, and I'm ready to dissect this with Daphne. We're talking about a Turing Award winner leaving one of the biggest tech companies in the world for a startup.
When someone of Yann LeCun's stature makes a pivot like this, the entire industry really takes notice. He hasn't just launched a company, he's essentially placed a multi-billion-dollar bet against the reigning AI champion.
That being the large language model. And this whole analysis was suggested by our producer, Curt Robbins, because the strategic implications for working professionals, for you, our listener, are just huge.
They are. We're pulling our facts from reports published around December 21st, 2025, drawing on insights from Megan McDonough, Amir Hartman, Fortune, Satya Giglione, and of course LeCun himself.
With details coming from the Financial Times and TechCrunch. Our mission today is pretty simple. Map out where the next wave of AI power is coming from.
Right, because if you understand this architectural shift now, you can position yourself to capture its value down the road. It's about the blueprint for future intelligence, not just a news story.
Okay, Daphne, let's start with the man himself, Yann LeCun. We can't really talk about this launch without acknowledging his gravity.
Not at all. He's a legendary figure, one of the three godfathers of AI, a Turing Award winner, which is basically the Nobel Prize for computing.
And until very recently, he was the chief AI scientist at Meta.
Exactly. That background gives this launch so much weight. But here's the key takeaway for me, Fred. For someone who helped define the current paradigm, his exit from Meta less than a month before this launch, it signals he thinks the current tools have hit a fundamental wall.
And the new venture is AMI Labs, or Advanced Machine Intelligence Labs. The team structure is already telling.
It is. He's the executive chairman, focused on the big vision. And for CEO, he's brought in Alex LeBrun.
LeBrun co-founded the health tech AI startup, Nabla.
And that's not an accident. That choice screams intentionality. You have a foundational genius paired with a proven builder in a really high-stakes industry. It shows a direct path from research to product.
That intentionality leads us right to the money, Daphne. The sheer scale of this investment, it's not a typical series a round.
Oh, not even close. The reports say AMI Labs is targeting a raise of about $500 million. But the truly staggering figure is the pre-launch valuation.
Which is what?
They're reportedly aiming for $3.5 billion, with some projections going north of $5 billion.
Wow. A multi-billion-dollar valuation before a product is even really out the door. So, as professionals, what does that number actually mean? Is it just hype around LeCun's name?
It's definitely part of it, but the strategic message, as folks like Amir Hartman have pointed out, is that the market is valuing these foundational AI bets like infrastructure projects.
Like a new kind of electrical grid or something.
Precisely. A grid doesn't return value in a year. It enables new industries for decades. This isn't about short-term sauce metrics. It's a long-term bet on intelligence infrastructure.
So for our listener, that means the next big disruptions will come from these fundamental models, not just a slick new chat interface.
Exactly. And that sets the stage perfectly for the core technical difference here. This massive valuation is all about moving away from LLMs and toward what LeCun calls world models.
So if he isn't just building a better chat GPT, Daphne, what's the structural flaw he's trying to fix?
The flaw is a lack of grounding in reality. Current LLMs are brilliant statistical engines. They optimize for fluency.
Right, they'll get tons of text and just predict the most plausible next word.
They're masters of pattern recognition, phenomenal communicators. But world models, the focus of AMI Labs, optimize for understanding.
Okay, so give me an analogy here.
If an LLM is a brilliant orator who has memorized every book and can argue any point convincingly, a world model is a physicist who actually understands the mechanics of the stage. Gravity, momentum, cause and effect.
So what does that mean in practice? What does it do that an LLM can't?
Well, a world model learns how the world actually works. The sources point to a few key things: simulating cause and effect, maintaining a persistent memory, and planning complex multi-step actions.
It's an AI that understands physics.
That's the core of it. It can run a simulation internally to predict an outcome before it acts, instead of just generating plausible-sounding text about it.
And this is important because LLMs can fail pretty catastrophically when things get physical.
They can. Think about a robot trying to stack a weirdly shaped box. An LLM can write perfect instructions, but if the box tips, the LLM is lost. It has no real-time model of gravity or friction.
It's just working from a description of the world, not an active simulation of it.
Exactly. A world model creates an internal representation of that environment. It can run thousands of tiny simulations in a split second to figure out the right move. That's critical where failure is expensive.
And LeCun isn't alone in this. The reports mention Google DeepMind and Faith Ali's World Labs are also heading in this direction.
Which just validates the whole approach. It brings us back to what Amir Hartman said. LLMs will dominate interfaces and workflows, but world models are going to power the high-stakes decisions.
Decisions where failure is expensive. That's definitely the phrase to remember. Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast.
Before the break, Fred, we established that world models are all about handling high-stakes decisions by grounding AI in reality. Now let's look at the immediate proof point, the NABLA partnership.
Right, this partnership between AMI Labs and NABLA, the AI for Clinicians platform. It's the first concrete example of where this tech is headed. And healthcare is the very definition of a high-consequence environment.
And it's all solidified by Alex LeBrun's dual role. He becomes CEO of AMI Labs, but he's also staying on as chief AI scientist and chairman at NABLA. It's a very tight strategic alignment.
So NABLA gets early access to this next-gen research. They can move beyond today's LLMs, which are great for, say, transcription.
And start integrating models that can handle actual causal reasoning. The clinical goal is everything here. Safe, reliable AI. In diagnostics or treatment planning, you need an AI that can model a physiological response, not just generate medically plausible text.
And it's clearly not just an R&D project. NABLA has already more than tripled its recurring revenue this year, and they're aiming for $1 billion.
This partnership is a competitive accelerator. It guarantees them access to the best foundational models for safety-critical work.
So the immediate applications we're seeing are in robotics, transport, and clinical care. All areas that share those same non-negotiable requirements.
Complex planning, persistent memory, and an understanding of physical laws. If you're in any industry that touches those things, this launch should be a huge signal.
Okay, so Daphne, let's bring this all together. We have a legendary founder, an infrastructure-level evaluation, and a focus on reliability. What's the practical career advantage here?
Well, the core question is shifting from, how do I use AI, to what kind of AI should I be learning? The LLM revolution was about becoming a good data translator learning to prompt to fine-tune.
A translator is useful, but an architect is essential.
That's it, exactly. This world model revolution demands you become a decision architect. You need to focus not just on the interface, but on leveraging systems that can model and reason about the world.
So the professional who masters integrating these physics-aware AI models is going to have a generational advantage.
Absolutely. The capital and the top talent are all moving toward grounding AI in reality.
And that leads us to our final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Given this massive capital injection and the focus on high-consequence industries like healthcare and transport,
what existing critical industry beyond the ones we've already mentioned might be the next target for disruption by LeCun's physics-aware AI? Think about things like utility grids or complex environmental engineering.
Something to mull over as you plot your next strategic move.
The race to model reality has officially begun.
Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.